Welcome to The Parent Thing. Hi, I'm Tarryn, your host, and I'm so excited you're here. This is the space where we uncover the incredible potential of childhood, parenting, and the power of neurosomatic intelligence. Whether you're a parent, teacher, caregiver, or someone who deeply impacts a child's life, this podcast is your guide to nurturing emotional resilience, fostering growth, and building meaningful connections. Together, we'll explore cutting-edge insights, practical tools, and heartfelt stories to empower you in shaping the next generation. Join me each week as we dive into strategies, science, and stories that inspire and transform. Let's reimagine what's possible for the children we care about and for ourselves. Now, let's begin this inspiring journey together. Hello and welcome back to The Parent Thing. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me today. I am so grateful you are here. If you're listening to this as the new year begins, I want to start by saying this. You don't need to become a new version of yourself. You need to come home to yourself. Every January, we're flooded with messages, new goals, new habits, new routines, new parenting strategies, resolution. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this. I'm going to do this differently. But we really pause to ask, what does my nervous system actually need right now? Because here's the truth. You can't think your way into a regulated nervous system. You can't think your way into a regulated home. You can't discipline your way into emotional safety. And you can't goal set your way to connection. This year, let's do something different. This episode is about resetting your body, not just your calendar, understanding why change feels hard, and it's not because you're failing. This episode is also about creating a year rooted in safety, presence, and capacity for you and your children. So take a breath with me right now. No fixing, no striving, just being present, just being here in this moment, just arriving. Why does the new year always feel so pressurized? It carries so much expectation. We expect ourselves to be calmer parents, to be more patient partners, to be more disciplined humans. But what we forget is this: January doesn't magically reset your nervous system. January doesn't magically take away what kept you stressed out or worried. January doesn't magically give you rest. January does not magically heal you. If you ended last year exhausted, overstimulated, in survival mode, carrying grief, carrying stress, carrying disappointment, your body doesn't just wake up on January 1st refreshed, restored, renewed, feeling good. It doesn't happen that way. From a neurosomatic intelligence perspective, your body is always asking one question: am I safe? It doesn't ask, am I successful? Am I productive? Am I doing this right? Safety comes first. Yet, the reality is so many of us are stuck in survival mode that one, we think that our survival mode is normal, and two, we don't know what safety actually feels like. I think of an example, personal example, very early on in my husband and I living together, after we were married, and I had just moved to the US, I didn't have a job yet, and he had gone to work. I spent the day doing a couple of things around the house. but the house wasn't completely like put together. He had called to say that he's like 5 minutes away, and that call was such a trigger for me. I remember getting up and scrambling to get the house tidy, scrambling to make sure the kitchen was clean. It was tidy, but like there was just this panic in me that wanted to make sure that everything was perfect by the time that he got home. That is survival. That is my childhood. That is parents calling and saying they're almost home and the house better be clean when they get there. Parents calling saying that they're almost home and the food need to be cooked by the time that they got there. There was something that just triggered me to scramble and just try and get everything perfect. And then I had a moment where I realized, whoa, this is my house. My husband is not my parent. My husband is not going to come into this house and yell and scream because there was two spoons left in the kitchen sink. That moment was so pivotal for me because I realized in that moment that I was in survival. I operated in survival. I operated from a place of survival where I fawned. Everything needed to be put together. It needed to look perfect. And under the surface, I was just surviving. I didn't have to. So a lot of the times it's normal. It was so normal for me until I had the realization that this is not healthy. This is not normal. So when we skip the step of safety in the body coming first, when we don't start creating a safe nervous system, we end up repeating the same cycles. We react instead of respond. We snap and then we feel guilty afterwards. We promise ourselves that we'll do better without changing the conditions. This year isn't about more effort, it's about more capacity. Changing that narrative of survival, creating safety, creating the capacity to do better, creating the capacity to be more disciplined. Is it as easy as I say that it is? Absolutely not. Let's talk about why change feels so difficult. Even when we want it, even when we want the change, why is it so difficult to make the changes that we want to see? Here's why. Our nervous system's job is not growth, it's not change, it's protection. Any change is perceived in your body as a threat. Your brain hates using energy, and change requires energy. So when you try to wake up earlier, when you try to parent more gently, when you try to be more present, when you try to stop yelling, when you try to set better boundaries, your body might respond with resistance, fatigue, overwhelm, and that little devil self-sabotage. Not because you're lazy, but because your system says this feels unfamiliar and therefore it's unsafe. For parents, especially, this shows up as feeling touched out, like you don't want to be touched, you don't want them to be near you. It shows up as being triggered by your child's emotions. It shows up as you shutting down or as you exploding. Children don't learn emotional regulation from what we say, they learn it from what our bodies model. A dysregulated adult cannot co regulate a child. So the question for this year becomes, how do I create more safety in my body so my child can feel safe in theirs? Before we rush forward, I want to pause here for a second. I'm going to ask you to listen to my question and really take a second to reflect and think about what I'm asking you. So, the first question I have for you before I ask the question Just remember that reflection is not self-criticism. It's data where you can take in all this information, analyze it, and see where the change needs to come into effect. So I want you to gently consider, when did I feel most overwhelmed last year? What moments made me feel disconnected from my child? Where did my body feel tense, heavy, or exhausted? Press pause and take some time to think about that. And when you come back, I have more questions for you. When did I feel present last year? When did I feel joy or softness last year? What environments supported me last year? There is no right or wrong here. Your nervous system keeps score, and it's been communicating with you all along through tension, through illness, through reactivity, and fatigue. This year, I challenge you to listen to your nervous system instead of overriding your nervous system. Instead of having New Year's resolutions this year, I want to offer somatic intentions. So it doesn't sound like I will be more patient, I will stop yelling, but rather I will notice when my body is overwhelmed. I will create pauses before reacting. I will prioritize regulation over perfection. And I say this, it sounds so unachievable, it sounds unrealistic because the reality is we have knee-jerk reactions, we have visceral reactions to overstimulation, we have these visceral reactions. The key to this is training before the event, just like in sports. Athletes train before the big race. Soccer teams train before the big game. We have these knee-jerk visceral reactions that come naturally, but when you start creating safety in your nervous system ahead of the big moment, you do become more aware. It is a practice, it takes work, it takes time, it takes patience. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's something that you have to be so intentional about. So, three things, three powerful intentions for parents. Number one, safety before strategy. Before correcting behavior or leaning into your default behavior, yours or your child's, ask, am I regulated? Connection over control is number two. Children behave better when they feel safer, not when they feel controlled. Number three, repair is more important than perfection. You will lose your cool. You will snap. You will revert back to your old behavioral patterns. What heals is the coming back, it's the acknowledging, it's the apologizing and making right. And this is how true trust and connection is born. So I'm going to give you some practical daily nervous system practices for the year. Just something that you do every day. Just take a moment when you wake up or even just before you go to bed to create the safety where you learn to drop into your body and feel the sensations that your body is feeling. And that will tell you when you're dysregulated because you become more aware of these internal and external signals that your body will send. So, daily regulation. One, place your hand on your chest, one on your belly, both on your heart, doesn't matter, and just slow your breath. You're going to take that time, feeling your chest rise and fall, being very aware of it. Feels uncomfortable at first because it doesn't feel normal to actually tap into what your body is saying to you. And just internally tell yourself that you're safe right now. Literally just say, I am safe right here, right now, in this moment. I am safe. Another practical thing you can do to assess whether or not you are regulated or making sure that you are regulated is before you respond to your child, even in moments of calm, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and fully exhale before you speak. And take another inhale and then speak to your child. And then a big one is family regulation rituals, morning hugs. Every morning you see your kiddo, just a hug from the heart, getting down to their level, holding them for a hug that lasts for like 20 seconds. That's co-regulation. They feel loved, they feel safe in that moment. Maybe playing gentle music during transitions, moving from bed to kitchen, kitchen to car, kitchen to bus, whatever these transitions are. Maybe just having some slow, soft music in the background. And then also making eye contact with your kiddo before giving them an instruction or a direction. This tells you that they've got your attention, you've got their attention, instead of being in the kitchen and yelling out, hey, can you take out the trash? You don't know that they're listening. You don't know if they are distracted. You don't know where they are at. But when you go there and you give that eye contact and you say, hey, can you give me your eyes for a second? Can you look at me for a second? I need you to take the trash out, please. That creates such connection and makes such a huge difference in the way they receive you and you receive them, even because you may even read in that moment, oh, something's wrong here. This kiddo is not doing okay. And then you can shift because the trash can get taken out later. You can pivot and be like, hey, what's happening? You don't look happy. You look a little down. That connection, chef's kiss. These small moments truly, truly change everything. And again, it's like training for the big race. It's like training for the big game because you'll be more in tune with your emotions and what you're feeling and knowing when you are heightened or anxious. And then instead of reacting, you learn to respond in that situation. If no one has told you yet, let me say it. You're not behind. You're not failing. You are not broken. You are a nervous system living inside a very demanding world. And the fact that you're listening to this tells me that you care. It tells me that you're aware. It tells me that you are willing. And that's where real change begins. As we step into the year together, my hope for you is this, that your home becomes a place where feelings are allowed, where repair is normal, where regulation is practiced, and love feels safe in the body. This year, we're not chasing perfection. Perfection does not exist. This year, we are cultivating presence. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work, not just for your children, but for yourself. I will see you guys in the next episode of The Parent Thing.
Thank you for tuning into The Parent Thing. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions, feedback,